9. A teenager's traumatic encounter. 19-year-old Shelley Engel was walking along a highway in Burkeville, Texas one morning in 2022 when a pack of 16 dogs of various breeds brutally attacked her. They pulled the young woman into the middle of the road and at one point were mauling all 4 of her limbs at once. A nearby motorist rushed over with his truck and used it to scare some of the dogs away. He got Shelley into his truck and called for help. The dogs were still at the scene and trying to attack when first responders arrived, but they managed to ward the pack off. Shelley survived, but was seriously injured. Speaking to KJAS, Burkeville Fire Chief Charles Duckworth identified the dog's owner as a woman named Alicia Ferguson. He said that Ferguson's dogs have caused ongoing problems in the community. Just days before the attack on Shelley, 2 of the canines tried to attack someone outside a local school. Duckworth said the local authorities had several conversations with Ferguson about problems at her property. Newton County Sheriff Robert Burby issued a citation against Ferguson in connection with the attack, and Shelley's family reportedly plans to sue in civil court. The investigation into the incident is ongoing. 8. A regrettable intervention. You know how there are some fights that you should just stay out of? That was perhaps the case when Annie Nolan tried separating a pair of fighting dogs in Melbourne, Australia one day in 2019. The popular blogger spotted the 2 canines going at it in the street and intervened without a second thought. On a serious note, Nolan's decision to get involved was commendable and most likely saved the life of the smaller dog involved, who was punctured in the neck. When all was said and done, both Nolan and the pups were covered in blood and injuries. Nolan was treated at a hospital for a bite to her hand, but was otherwise okay. She described the attack as a freak incident and said that she harbors no bad feelings towards the larger dog, who she said started the fight, or the dog's owner, who reportedly sustained some bad injuries. In a social media post, Nolan urged the owner to reach out to her because she was concerned for his well-being and because she was hoping he would be willing to cover the vet bills for the smaller dog's care. The mother of 3 made it clear to her followers that the owner did everything he could to stop the attack, but that it happened anyway, and that he had the dog on a leash at the time. Nolan also made it clear that she wasn't interested in suing or bringing the matter to court. 7. A postal worker's peril. 61-year-old Pamela Rock was working as a mail carrier in rural Interlaken, Florida during the summer of 2022 when her truck broke down in the middle of a subdivision. Residents overheard her screaming for help and found her on the ground, being viciously mauled by a pack of 5 dogs that had escaped from their nearby enclosure. One community member fired his gun into the air repeatedly in an effort to scare the dogs off, but they continued attacking Pamela. She was still conscious when the dogs were finally removed from the scene and when first responders arrived, but her pulse was erratic and she was catastrophically injured. Doctors amputated Pamela's arm and performed other life-saving measures, but she unfortunately passed away from her injuries. Neighbors told the local press that the dogs who attacked Pamela had escaped from their enclosure weeks earlier and had been running wild ever since. Their owner had been reported to animal control several times in the past for incidents that involved the pets getting loose and acting aggressive. The dogs were all euthanized following Pamela's death, which left some people wondering why the owner was still allowed to have dogs when there seemed to be ongoing issues with the person's ability to keep them contained. When the story broke, authorities reassured the public that they were investigating the incident, but it's unclear whether they were able to answer any of the lingering questions surrounding what felt to many like a needless and preventable tragedy. 6. Held captive by strays. Tessica Carradine's young daughter was playing in the front yard of her St. Louis County, Missouri home one day in 2022 when a pack of 6 stray dogs came charging at her out of nowhere. The terrified little girl ran inside with a bite injury and was afraid to go back outside for days afterwards. Carradine's doorbell camera captured footage of the dogs walking past the house in the days following the attack and called animal control several times, expecting that they would do something to stop the pack from roaming free. To her surprise, almost every local official she spoke with said that there was nothing they could do to help. In one case, An animal control officer said he couldn't fit any more dogs into his vehicle. When local station KSDK asked him why he didn't call for backup, he reportedly said that backup was too far away. A police officer advised Carradine to shoot the dogs if they were posing a threat to her, but she said she didn't want to shoot a gun in close proximity to other people's homes or with her daughter nearby, which is understandable. She told KDSK that several of her calls to animal control went unanswered, and that as a taxpayer, she expected more to be done. Carradine was left feeling especially concerned because she lives in an area where children regularly walk to school. Animal control said that a non-profit is taking over the local animal shelter, which they hope will help them get the exploding population of strays under control. 5. Deadly delivery. One day in 2022, someone called the police after noticing that an Amazon delivery truck had been sitting on the side of the road in rural Excelsior Springs, Missouri for several hours. Ray County Sheriff's deputies arrived to find the driver dead in the front yard of the residence they were parked outside of. The driver's injuries appeared to be consistent with an animal attack, and the responding deputies encountered 2 dogs at the scene. They shot the German Shepherd and the Mastiff because the dogs were being aggressive, although it was immediately unclear whether the attack was the driver's cause of death. An autopsy concluded that a dog attack was most likely responsible, but that it was possible that the driver, later identified as 49-year-old Jamie Burnham, experienced a medical emergency and was mauled by the dogs afterward. Driver dispatcher Nisha Wright told local station Fox 4 that Burnham was a veteran delivery man who trained other drivers on safety and efficiency. She said she knew something was wrong when she noticed that he was only 10 deliveries ahead of schedule rather than his normal rate of 30 to 40 deliveries ahead. The tragedy prompted Amazon to enhance its safety protocols by introducing a system where drivers can alert each other to aggressive animal behavior during deliveries. Customers are also able to let delivery drivers know that they have a dog in their residence, and Amazon strongly urged them to do so. Many people are calling on the company to do more, while others have questioned why Burnham's dispatcher didn't notice him in the same spot for 2 hours and take action sooner. 4. Alleyway attack. Melvina Moore and her husband, 62-year-old Dennis Moore, typically spoke on the phone several times throughout her shift while she worked overnight at a nursing home in St. Louis, Missouri. So she knew something was wrong when she couldn't reach him one night in 2022. Melvina continued trying to reach Dennis and finally got through hours after their plan to talk. A police officer answered the phone but said he would talk to Melvina face to face. She rushed home and was told that Dennis was attacked by dogs. He was found dead in an alleyway, and his injuries were so horrific that the police wouldn't let Melvina see his body. A 92-year-old man was also attacked by dogs that night. In an unexpected twist, an autopsy found evidence that Dennis may have experienced a heart-related medical emergency and that he may have been dead before the dogs attacked his body. The new information frustrated Melvina, who told Fox 2 Now that she had been in the dark about the case since the very beginning. She said that she'd also received conflicting stories from investigators. At one point, she claimed, she was told that the dogs who attacked Dennis were captured and euthanized, only to find out that they were still alive, and that their owner may even get them back because their DNA wasn't a match to the dog DNA found on her husband's body. The medical examiner listed Dennis's cause of death as being heart-related, but also said that authorities were seeking to euthanize the dogs. It's understandable that Melvina was at her wit's end with the conflicting details she felt she was receiving. She primarily blamed human behavior for her husband's death, telling KSDK that she thinks vicious dogs are raised wrong and that they're not born to act that way. 3. Guam's growing stray problem. In recent years, the Pacific island of Guam has experienced an ongoing stray dog crisis, with the homeless pet population numbering anywhere from 25,000 to 60,000. Meanwhile, animal shelters are packed to the brim and struggling to make room to take in any more rescues. The problem has gotten so bad that Barry Garda Mayor June Blass described it as beyond out of control and a risk to people's lives. In 2021, the Guam Daily Post reported that witnesses had seen a pack of as many as 50 dogs roaming in the Tian area, leaving residents afraid to take outdoor walks. Local resident Rosie Blast told the news outlet that the dogs kept returning to the area because people kept feeding them. She said that while she understands the desire to care for a hungry animal, giving food to the strays puts the community in serious danger. Under the law, a person who feeds a stray dog 3 times legally becomes its owner, according to Agriculture Deputy Director Adrian Cruz. Cruz urged residents not to feed a stray unless they were willing to house and take care of it long term. The statement wasn't received very well by rescue groups, who admitted to feeding some strays in an attempt to gain trust so that they can have the dog sprayed and neutered. One thing is clear, solving the problem won't be quick or easy, and will require more cooperation between people of differing opinions than it seems to be receiving thus far. 2. Stray dogs versus gazelles. In 2019, a pack of stray dogs somehow got into a fenced area at a farm in the United Arab Emirates and attacked and killed 13 of the owner's sand gazelles. The unfortunate incident happened in the country's northernmost region, Ras Al Khaimah, during the early hours of the morning. Construction workers in the area had recently been feeding the dogs, according to the farm's owner Ali Al-Mazroui. They became accustomed to receiving food and, in Al-Mazroui's words, became ravenous. He told the First News that he didn't know how the dogs got into the enclosure and that it was too late to save his gazelles by the time he discovered what had happened. Classified as vulnerable by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, Arabian sand gazelles are found in limited areas throughout the Middle East. Al-Mazroui had been raising his gazelles for around 4 years before they were killed and was extremely upset by the loss of his animals, who he called his babies. He urged authorities to take more action to get the country's stray animal populations under control. Speaking with the First News, local resident Saif Al-Mazri said that stray dog attacks on livestock are fairly common throughout the area and that it happens every year. The year before the gazelle attack, he lost 4 sheep. He pointed out how incidents like these cause financial hardship for farmers, but he blamed humans more than the dogs, saying that if workers were feeding the strays, they should have been willing to take them in on a more permanent basis. 1. Wolf dog pup meets unfortunate end. Wolf dog hybrids are sometimes kept as pets in certain parts of the world, with numbers in the US estimated at more than 300,000. But they're not a recognized breed and are banned as domestic pets in some states and regions because they're widely considered wild animals. Their hybrid status raises numerous ethical and safety concerns when it comes to breeding and owning them. For one, wolf dogs are prone to instinctive aggression and other unpredictable behaviors and are therefore a danger to humans. Case in point, in July 2022, a 60-year-old woman was bitten on the face and neck by a wolf dog believed to be her pet. In cases of wolf dogs who live in the wild, having domesticated animal DNA could potentially compromise the animal's natural ability to survive. But these hybrid offspring are also not cut out for domestication or captivity, leaving them caught between 2 worlds they don't quite belong in. In some places, the law requires authorities to euthanize any wolf dogs to prevent the species' distinctive gene pools from deteriorating. Such was the case in Bavaria, Germany in 2022, when scientists ran DNA tests on evidence collected from dead sheep and discovered evidence of a female wolf and her hybrid pups. To prevent any further genetic mixing, the country's policy requires the wolf dogs to be tracked down and shot. It's unfortunate, but there seems to be no truly appropriate setting for these half-wild, half-domestic animals. Would you rather have a pack of stray dogs living in your neighborhood that authorities refuse to do anything about, or a neighbor who feeds wild skunks? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. Bye.